Fingers tap the screen. Again. News scrolls. Numbers flash. The mind hunts for control, but finds none. Each refresh pulls harder. A silent chase. Worry builds a cage, thought by thought. The world spins. Hard times don't pause, yet the screen stays on. Why? What changes when the outcome is already carved? Does scrolling shift reality, or does it deepen the numbness? The mind tricks itself. It believes action equals power. But action without purpose is a loop, a trap. Each tap erodes something unseen, a quiet fracture. Self-command slips, not in a crash, but in the slow drip of reaction. The mind, once sharp, now scatters. Anxiety grows where clarity once stood. No one notices, not even you, until the weight presses, invisible but heavy. There is nothing the busy man is less busied with than living, Seneca wrote. Each swipe buries the present. Each thought of tomorrow steals the now. Stillness waits, but the hand keeps moving. When did you last pause? Without worry pulling first. Was it choice or surrender? The screen glows. The mind races, but nothing shifts unless you stop. The loop runs until it's cut. The mind plans, maps every step. Hard times demand it, don't they? Each thought stacks, each outcome weighed. Control seems close, if you just think harder, if you just see it coming. But pain arrives, planned or not. The map crumples, the steps vanish. Worry doesn't shield, it binds. Every what if tightens the knot. Every prediction, a weight, not on the world, on you. The trap is simple. You believe thinking saves, you believe foresight spares, but the mind spins and nothing holds. Reaction builds a cage, not safety. Stop. Worry promises answers. It delivers chains. Step back. The world turns. You don't have to turn with it. Silence sees clearer than thought. Principle 1. The trap of seeking certainty. The screen glows. Fingers swipe. News headlines blur past. Another tap. Another article. The mind hunts for answers, for control. Hard times breed chaos. Markets crash. Plans dissolve. So you scroll. You search. You think, if you know enough, you'll be safe. If you predict the next drop, the next loss, you'll stay ahead. Each click feels like progress. Each fact feels like armor. But it's not. Worry drives this. Not reason. The mind tricks itself. It says knowledge is power. It says certainty is a shield. But the world doesn't bend. No headline saves. No update spares. Each swipe pulls you deeper, not into clarity, but into a loop, a cage of overthinking. The more you seek, the less you see. Anxiety grows, not because the world shifts, but because you chase what can't be caught. The cost isn't loud, it's silent. Each moment spent chasing certainty steals something. Not time, not money, but presents. The mind scatters. Self-command phrase. You don't notice until the weight settles. A quiet numbness. A fracture in the system. You're not sharper for it. You're weaker. Not because you failed, but because you believed the trap. Epictetus said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." The world turns. Always will. No screen holds its reins. No thought stops its spin. Certainty is a ghost. Chasing it is chasing air. The mind begs to act, to react, to know. But action without ground is just noise. Pause. Before the next tap, feel the urge. It's there, pulling. Observe it. Don't fight. Don't feed it. Let it pass. Like a cloud, like a wave. The hand hovers. The screen waits. But you don't have to move. Witness the impulse. Name it. Worry. Not truth. Not power. Just a reflex. One you can break. Hard times don't ask for your predictions. They ask for your stillness. The world will shift. Let it. You don't need to know its next move. You need to know your own. Step back. Breathe. See the loop. It's not the world trapping you. It's your own hand. You don't have to react. The reflex, to chase certainty, lingers, like a hum in the mind. It promises safety. It delivers chains. But there's another trap. One that doesn't pull forward, but drags back. Principle 2. Ruminating on what's lost. The mind drifts. A memory flickers. A job gone. A bond broken. A chance missed. It plays again, unbidden. The scene loops. Words you didn't say. Choices you didn't make. The past whispers, and you listen. Not by choice, by reflex. Hard times sharpen these shadows. They pull you back, to what was, to what might have been. You sit, you stare. The room is still, but the mind runs. Regret is a river. It carries debris, old hurts, old failures. Each thought is a weight, dragging you under. You think revisiting will explain, will fix, but it doesn't. Each loop deepens the ache. Not the loss itself, but the story you tell. The story that says you could have changed it, that you should have. Shame settles in. Not loud, silent. It binds you to a moment that no longer exists. The cost is clear, not in tears, not in words, but in the slow theft of now. Each memory steals breath. Each what if erodes self-command. The mind, once yours, becomes a stage for ghosts. You don't move forward, you don't stand still, you sink, invisible, but heavy. The past doesn't hold answers, it holds chains. Picture a river. Its current pulls, debris floats. You stand on the bank, the water moves, but you don't have to follow. What's gone is gone, Marcus Aurelius wrote. The past is not your cage. Your thoughts make it so. Let go. Not to forget, not to erase, but to stand here. The mind will pull. It always does. Don't fight it. Observe. Name the thought. Regret. Not truth. Just a reflex. Sit with it. Don't replay. Don't rewrite. Breathe. The memory rises. Let it pass. The urge to fix the past is strong, but it's not yours to fix. Hard times don't ask for your stories. They ask for your presence. Unhook from the scene. From the weight, hold nothing. The river flows, you don't have to drown. Pain doesn't mean truth. 70% of worries never happen. The mind spins anyway. Numbers stack. Thoughts race. Nothing lands. The chase for fixes pulls hard. It promises relief. It delivers weight. But another reflex festers. One that begs to be seen, to be heard, in the chaos of hard times. Principle 3. Chasing external fixes. The phone hums. A notification. A sale. A post. A distraction. You tap. You buy. You scroll. Hard times press. And the world offers. Escapes. A new gadget. A quick win. A fleeting high. The mind leaps. If you fill the void, the pain will fade. If you move fast enough, the weight will lift. So you act. You spend. You chase. Each click feels like motion, like progress, but it's not. This is avoidance, not relief. The mind tricks itself. It says the next purchase, the next scroll will settle the ache, but it doesn't. Each distraction stacks. Each escape deepens the emptiness. Not because you lack, but because you run. The world sells fixes. You buy, and nothing holds. The high fades, the void grows. Anxiety creeps in. Not from the crisis, but from the chase. The cost is silent. Not in dollars, not in time, but in ground. Each distraction pulls you from center. Self-command slips, not in a crash, but in a slow drift. You don't notice. Not at first. But the fracture spreads. The mind, once clear, now scatters. Invisible, but heavy. The world doesn't fill the void. It widens it. Marcus Aurelius said, "Nowhere can man find a quieter retreat than in his own soul." The world screams, buy, do, move. But peace isn't out there. It's here. The mind begs to act, to fill, to flee. Don't. Observe the urge. Name it. Escape. Not truth. Just a reflex. Pause. Before the next tap. Before the next buy. Breathe. The impulse rises. Let it pass. Disengage. Turn off the screen. Step back from the noise. Hard times don't need your purchases. They need your presence. The void isn't filled by things. It's filled by stillness. Say less. Want less. Hold nothing. The world spins. You don't have to spin with it. You don't owe anything. The urge to escape pulls like a tide. It promises ease. It delivers drift. But another reflex waits, one that speaks when it shouldn't, seeking eyes that don't see. Principle 4. Explaining to be seen. The words spill. A text drafted. A call made. You speak to be understood. Hard times isolate. The world feels distant. So you explain. Your loss, your fear, your pain. Not to fix, not to solve, but to be seen. The mind says, if they hear, they'll stay. If they know, they'll care. So you type, you talk, you lay it bare. Each word feels like a bridge, like connection. But it's not. This is pleasing, not healing. The mind lies. It says words will bind, will hold, but they don't. Each sentence builds a weight, not theirs, yours. You explain. They nod. They drift. The gap widens, not because they're cruel, but because your pain isn't theirs to carry. Shame creeps in, not for what you said, but for needing to say it. Invisible, you stay. The cost is quiet, not in tears, not in fights, but in the slow bleed of self-command. Each word given away steals breath. Each plea pulls you from center. The mind, once yours, now begs for eyes that don't see. You don't rise. You don't stand. You sink, chasing a glance that changes nothing. The Stoic voice whispers, no one owes you sight. You cannot control their thoughts, Epictetus said. Their eyes are theirs. Your pain is yours. Stop. Before the next word, feel the urge. It burns, to be known. Observe it. Name it. Need. Not truth. Just a reflex. Pause. The phone waits. The words hover. But you don't have to speak. Say less. Hold the thought. Keep it. Not for them. For you. Hard times don't need your story. They need your silence. Withdraw. From the urge, from the pull, not explaining, is power. The world looks away. Let it. You see yourself. That's enough. Silence isn't surrender. Why explain? No one sees. Then see yourself. The need to speak pulls like a current. It begs for light. It finds none. But another reflex festers, one that hides, not to protect, but to pretend. Principle 5. Suppressing fear. The jaw clenches. The breath shallows. Hard times loom, and fear rises. Not loud, not in screams, but in the quiet tightening of the chest. You push it down, bury it. You tell yourself, strength means silence. Control means no cracks, so you hide. You work. You smile. The world sees nothing. You show nothing. Each moment feels like victory, like power, but it's not. This is suppression, not mastery. The mind lies. It says burying fear builds armor. It says ignoring the ache keeps you whole, but it doesn't. Each push buries deeper. Not the fear, but you. It leaks into thoughts, into choices. Anxiety grows not from the crisis, but from the weight you carry alone. Shame settles, not for feeling, but for hiding. Invisible, but crushing. The cost is subtle, not in collapse, not in chaos, but in the slow theft of clarity. Each buried feeling steals breath. Each forced smile pulls you from center. The mind, once sharp, now strains. You don't break, you bend, and don't notice. Fear doesn't vanish. It festers, unseen, unnamed. Picture a dam. Water presses, cracks form. The wall holds until it doesn't. What you resist persists. The Stoics knew. Fear is not the enemy. Hiding it is. Stop before the next push. Feel the tightening, the pulse. Observe it, name it. Fear, not truth. Just a signal. Pause. Don't bury. Don't fight. Witness. The urge to hide is strong, but you don't have to obey. Breathing through. Sit with it. Let it rise. Let it pass. Hard times don't need your mask. They need your presence. Unhook from the need to seem strong, from the weight of pretending. Hold nothing. The dam holds when you let the water flow. Not doing is power too. Fear hums, a quiet pulse. It begs to be buried. It grows in the dark. But another reflex waits, one that grips too tightly, chasing what can't be held. Principle 6, clinging to control. The calendar fills. Tasks stack. Numbers are checked, rechecked. Hard times swirl, and the mind grips. Plans tighten. Schedules lock. You organize. You calculate. You steer. If you hold every piece, the chaos won't win. If you map every step, the fall won't come. Each move feels like strength, like order, but it's not. This is clinging, not commanding. The mind deceives. It says control stops pain. It says order shields loss, but it doesn't. Each grip tightens a knot, not on the world, on you. The more you hold, the less you see. The world shifts, always will. Your plans don't bind it, they bind you. Anxiety grows, not from the chaos, but from the fight to tame it. The cost is silent, not in failure, not in missed tasks, but in the theft of presence. Each plan steals breath. Each checklist pulls you from center. The mind, once fluid, now strains. You don't notice until the weight presses. Loss isn't just what's gone. It's what you lose while gripping. Invisible, but heavy. Seneca said, "Fate leads the willing, drags the unwilling. The world moves. You can't chain it. Control is a shadow. Chasing it is chasing dust." Stop. Before the next plan, feel the urge. It pulls, to fix, to hold. Observe it, name it. Control, not truth. Just a reflex. Pause. The pen hovers. The screen waits, but you don't have to act. Release. Let the pieces fall. Hard times don't bend to your maps, they bend to your stillness. Step back. Breathe. Witness the chaos. It's not yours to tame. Hold nothing. The world turns. You don't have to turn with it. Let go isn't weakness. Worry is a rope. Each thought tightens it. The neck strains, the breath slows. Cut it and breathe. The truth waits. Sharp, unyielding. Dodging it pulls you deeper. Another reflex hums, one that avoids the mirror. chasing shadows instead. Principle 7. Avoiding hard truths. The mind turns away from the number in the bank, away from the silence in the room, away from the weight in the chest. Hard times bear the truth, and you look elsewhere. You scroll, you work, you laugh. Anything to keep moving, anything to not see. The mind says, if you don't look, it's not there. If you stay busy, it won't cut. So you run. Each step feels like safety, like distance, but it's not. This is denial, not protection. The mind lies. It says avoiding truth spares pain. It says ignoring reality keeps you whole, but it doesn't. Each dodge builds a wall, not around the truth, around you. Isolation grows, not from the world, but from yourself. Anxiety festers, not because the truth is cruel, but because you flee it. The cost is quiet, not in collapse, not in chaos, but in the theft of ground. Each dodge steals clarity. Each distraction pulls you from center. The mind, once sharp, now clouds. You don't break. You drift. Invisible, but heavy. Truth doesn't vanish. It waits. Always. Picture a mirror, cracked, dust-covered. You pass it daily, but never stop. What you cannot change, accept, the Stoics taught. Truth is not your enemy. Running is stop. Before the next dodge, feel the pull to turn away. Observe it, name it. Avoidance, not truth, just a reflex. Pause. The urge to run is strong, but you don't have to obey. Face it. Look at the number. Hear the silence. Feel the weight. Hard times don't need your denial. They need your presence. Witness the truth. Not to fix, not to fight, but to SEE. Breathe. The mirror clears. The cracks remain, but you stand. Hold nothing. Truth cuts, but it frees. The void is where it clears. Truth stings. A cold blade. It anchors when you face it, but another reflex pulls. One that chases echoes of those who turned away. Principle 8. Reacting to rejection. The message sits unanswered. The call ends. Silence. A door closes, and the mind reels. Hard times amplify it. A job denied. A bond severed. A glance turned away. Rejection cuts. Not loud. Not in blood, but in the quiet sting behind the eyes. You act. You text again. You reach out. You chase. The mind says, if you try harder, they'll see. If you prove more, they'll stay. Each move feels like effort, like fight, but it's not. This is clinging, not strength. The mind deceives. It says chasing will heal. It says effort will bind, but it doesn't. Each text sent, each call made, builds a weight. Not theirs, yours. Shame grows, not for the rejection, but for needing their eyes. You beg for sight. They look away. The wound deepens, not from their absence, but from your pursuit. The cost is silent, not in tears, not in loss, but in the theft of self-command. Each chase steals breath. Each plea pulls you from center. The mind, once yours, now runs after shadows that don't turn. You don't rise. You don't stand. You sink, invisible, but heavy. Epictetus said, it's not things that upset us, but our judgments about them. Their silence is not your cage. Your reaction is, stop. Before the next text, feel the sting. It burns to be unseen. Observe it. Name it. Need. Not truth, just a reflex. Pause. The phone waits. The urge pulls. But you don't have to move. Walk away. Not to hide. Not to hurt. But to hold yourself. Hard times don't need their eyes. They need your presence. Disengage. From the pull. From the chase. Not chasing is power. Their silence speaks. Let it. You don't need their light. You have your own. Detachment is a form of respect. A man lost his savings. He checked markets hourly. Fear grew. He stopped, looked at the sky, breathed. The numbers stayed, but the weight lifted. The chase for false light burns. It promises hope, but clouds the truth. Another reflex waits, one that clings to dreams that no longer serve. Principle 9. Hoping blindly. The mind dreams. A better day, a fixed past, a softer fall. Hard times crush, and you cling to hope. Not grounded, not clear, but blind. The job will return. The bond will mend. The world will right itself. You wait, you wish, you tell yourself. If you believe enough, it will come. If you hold on, the tide will turn. Each thought feels like strength, like light, but it's not. This is denial, not resilience. The mind lies. It says hope saves. It says dreams shield. But they don't. Each wish builds a veil, not over the pain, but over truth. Numbness grows, not from the crisis, but from refusing to see it. You chase a shadow, not reality. Anxiety festers, not because the world broke, but because you won't look at the break. The cost is silent, not in tears, not in loss, but in the theft of ground. Each dream steals breath. Each someday pulls you from center. The mind, once sharp, now drifts, lost in a fog of its own making. You don't move. You don't stand. You fade. Invisible, but heavy. You have power over your mind, not outside events, Epictetus said. Hope is not your anchor. Truth is. Stop before the next wish. Feel the pull. To dream. To wait. Observe it. Name it. Hope. Not truth. Just a reflex. Pause. The urge to cling is strong, but you don't have to obey. See the break. The loss, the now. Hard times don't bend to dreams. They bend to presence. Witness the truth, not to despair, not to drown, but to ground. Breathe. The fog clears. The world is. You are. Hold nothing. Dreams dissolve, but you remain. Stillness is enough. The mind seeks patterns. It traces old wounds. Hard times sharpen the lens, and the past speaks, not to guide, but to bind. Another reflex waits, one that replays the same hurt, expecting a different end. Principle 10. Replaying old wounds. The mind loops. A word, a look, a door, closed long ago. Hard times stir it, and the scene plays, not once, not twice, but endlessly. The moment they left, the job that slipped, the chance you missed. You watch, you dissect, you think. If you understand, it won't hurt. If you replay, you'll fix it. Each thought feels like progress, like clarity, but it's not. This is overthinking, not healing. The mind lies. It says revisiting mends. It says analyzing frees, but it doesn't. Each loop tightens a chain, not on the past, on you. Grief grows, not from the wound, but from holding it. Shame settles, not for what happened, but for staying there. Invisible, but heavy. The past doesn't change. Your thoughts don't rewrite it. The cost is quiet, not in tears, not in words, but in the theft of now. Each replay steals breath. Each why pulls you from center. The mind, once yours, now traps itself in a story that's done. You don't move. You don't stand. You sink, lost in a shadow you keep alive. Seneca said, "You live as if you were destined to live forever. The past is gone. Your grip on it isn't. Stop before the next loop. Feel the pull to revisit, to solve, observe it, name it. Grief, not truth, just a reflex. Pause. The memory rises. The urge burns. But you don't have to play it. Let go, not to forget, not to erase, but to be here. Hard times don't need your old stories. They need your presence. Sit with it. Breathe. The scene fades. The weight lifts. Not holding is power. The past speaks. Let it. You don't have to answer. You can end without drama. The past's echo fades, but the mind still hunts. Not for old wounds now, but for a shield against the chaos it fears to face. Principle 11. Building false shields. The schedule tightens. The desk organizes. The plan refines. Hard times roar, and you fortify. Lists grow. Goals sharpen. You build. Not to thrive, but to block. The mind says, if you prepare enough, Pennsylvania IN won't reach. If you armor every angle, loss won't strike. Each task feels like safety, like strength, but it's not. This is scape, not protection. The mind deceives. It says walls stop chaos. It says plans spare hurt, but they don't. Each shield you raise traps you tighter. Not the world, you. Anxiety grows, not from the storm, but from the weight of your defenses. Numbness settles, not for lack of effort, but for burying yourself. Invisible, but heavy. The cost is silent. Not in failure, not in undone tasks, but in the theft of presence. Each plan steals breath. Each wall pulls you from center. The mind, once clear, now strains under a fortress of its own making. You don't stand. You don't rise. You sink behind shields that block the truth. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Chaos is, always will be. Shields don't stop it. They blind you. Stop. Before the next list, feel the urge to plan, to hide. Observe it. Name it. Fear, not truth, just a reflex. Pause. The pen waits. The screen glows, but you don't have to build. Step back. Let the storm come. Hard times don't need your walls. They need your stillness. Witness the chaos. Not to fight, not to flee, but to see. Breathe. The fortress crumbles, and you remain. Hold nothing. Shields fall. Truth stands. Of not doing is power too. The urge to shield fades, but the mind still grips. Not for safety now, but for a story it tells itself to justify the pain. Principle 12. Justifying the pain. The mind weaves. A story forms. The loss wasn't your fault. The failure wasn't your choice. Hard times hit, and you explain. Not to others, to yourself. You trace the steps. You build the case. They left because of them. The job vanished because of chance. The mind says, if you understand, the pain will lighten. If you justify, the weight will lift. Each reason feels like truth, like relief, but it's not. This is suppression, not clarity. The mind lies. It says stories heal. It says reasons free, but they don't. Each tale you spin tightens a knot, not on the past, on you. Regret grows, not from the loss, but from clinging to its why. Shame settles, not for what happened, but for needing to prove it wasn't you. Invisible, but heavy. The cost is quiet. Not in tears, not in words, but in the theft of ground. Each story steals breath. Each because pulls you from center. The mind, once sharp, now loops, trapped in a narrative. It wrote, "You don't move. You don't stand. You sink under the weight of your own defense." What need is there to weep over parts of life? The whole of it calls for tears, Seneca said. Pain is. Reasons don't erase it. Stop. Before the next story, feel the urge to explain, to defend. Observe it. Name it. Justification. Not truth. Just a reflex. Pause. The mind races. The story waits. But you don't have to tell it. Release. Let the loss be. Hard times don't need your reasons. They need your presence. Witness the pain. Not to solve, not to soften, but to see, breathe. The story fades. And you remain. Hold nothing. Truth doesn't need your defense. It stands. Pain doesn't mean truth. The story dissolves. A weight unspun. But the mind still turns, seeking one last grasp at what it cannot hold. Principle 13. Holding onto illusions. The mind clings. A promise unkept. A future unseen. A life that could have been. Hard times strip away, and you grasp, not at what is, but at what might be. The job will come. The pain will fade. The world will turn kind. You hold. You wait. The mind says, if you keep the vision, it will save. If you cling, it will arrive. Dream feels like hope, like power, but it's not. This is attachment, not strength. The mind lies. It says illusions shield. It says dreams protect, but they don't. Each vision you hold builds a cage, not for the future, for you. Emptiness grows, not from the loss, but from chasing what isn't. Anxiety festers, not because the world fails, but because you won't release. Invisible, but heavy. The cost is silent, not in tears, not in time, but in the theft of now. Each illusion steals breath. Each someday pulls you from center. The mind, once clear, now clouds, lost in a mirage it drew. You don't stand. You don't move. You drift, trapped in a light that never lands. Epictetus said, "What need is there to chase what is not yours? The future is not your chain. Your grip is. Stop. Before the next dream. Feel the pull. To hold. To wait. Observe it. Name it. Illusion. Not truth. Just a reflex. Pause. The vision rises. The urge burns. But you don't have to follow. You unhook. Let the dream dissolve. Hard times don't need your illusions. They need your presence. Witness the now. Not to despair. Not to drown. But to ground. Breathe. The mirage fades. And you remain. Hold nothing. The world is. You are. Silence isn't surrender. Illusions fade. A fog lifted. But the mind still turns, seeking one last reflex. One that fights to prove it's still whole. Principle 14. Fighting to prove. The shoulders square. The voice hardens. Hard times press. And you push back. Not to win. Not to rise. But to prove. You work longer. You strive harder. You show the world you're not broken. The mind says, if you fight, they'll see. If you stand tall, the pain won't define you. Each effort feels like defiance, like strength, but it's not. This is reaction, not power. The mind lies. It says proving heals. It says effort erases loss, but it doesn't. Each push builds a weight. Not on the world, on you. Shame grows. Not for failing, but for needing to show you didn't. Anxiety festers, not from the struggle, but from fighting a ghost. Invisible, but heavy. The cost is quiet, not in sweat, not in hours, but in the theft of presence. Each fight steals breath. Each proof pulls you from center. The mind, once clear, now strains, chasing a verdict no one gives. You don't stand. You don't rise. You sink under a battle you chose. Seneca said, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity." The fight isn't your chain. Your need to prove is. Stop before the next push. Feel the urge to show, to defy. Observe it. Name it. Pride, not truth, just a reflex. Pause. The world watches. The urge burns. But you don't have to act. Step back. Let the struggle be. Hard times don't need your proof. They need your stillness. Witness the moment. Not to fight, not to win, but to be. Breathe. The battle fades, and you remain. Hold nothing. Strength isn't shown. It's kept. You don't owe anything. The need to prove dissolves, a weight unclaimed. But one last reflex lingers, one that seeks to fill the void with noise, not truth. Principle 15. Filling the void with noise. The radio hums. The screen flickers. The room fills with sound. Hard times carve a hollow, and you rush to fill it. Music plays. Videos loop. Conversations spark. Not to enjoy. Not to connect, but to drown. The mind says, if you keep it loud, the emptiness won't speak. If you stay busy, the silence won't sting. Each noise feels like relief, like life, but it's not. This is avoidance, not living. The mind lies. It says noise heals. It says distraction mends, but it doesn't. Each sound builds a wall, not around the void, around you. Numbness grows. Not from the crisis, but from fleeing its truth. Anxiety festers, not because the world hurts, but because you won't face the quiet. Invisible, but heavy. The cost is silent, not in time, not in words, but in the theft of ground. Each distraction steals breath. Each hum pulls you from center. The mind, once sharp, now scatters, lost in a storm of its own making. You don't stand. You don't rise. You drift. In a sea of noise, you chose. Marcus Aurelius said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. The void is not your enemy. Running from it is. Stop. Before the next play. Feel the urge to fill, to flee. Observe it. Name it. Escape. Not truth, just a reflex. Pause. The screen waits. The noise calls, but you don't have to answer. Turn off. Let the silence come. Hard times don't need your noise. They need your presence. Sit with it. Breathe. The void speaks, but it doesn't bite. Witness the quiet, not to fill, not to fix, but to be. Hold nothing. The silence clears, and you remain. Stillness is enough. The phone lies still, face down, no glow. The room hums, nothing, only breath, slow, steady. The world spins on. Hard times linger, but the hand doesn't reach. The screen doesn't light. A thought rises and passes, unchased. Something held, not a fix, not a win, but a pause. A moment where worry called, and you didn't answer. Not out of strength, not out of will, but out of seeing. The void was there. You didn't fill it? The weight was there. You didn't run. What stopped you from reacting this time? Was it choice? Or just a breath held long enough to notice? Silence carries more than answers.